Okay guys, so welcome back to another one of my videos. It's unusual for me to, for you to see my face. I usually are behind the camera. This time I'm in front of the camera. It's just I want to explain what's going to happen on this video. On this video, as a lot of you will know or have come across in the e-waste or scrap and gold recovery, sometimes you get into a situation where it's just getting nowhere. You're trying to drop the gold, or you're trying to recover the silver, or whatever you're trying to recover, and you just can't get it. It won't drop, or it's dropping too slow, or it's not dropping right, it's redissolving, you're not getting any material out even though you're expecting to see material from what you put in. You're testing positive for gold, but there's nothing there. So you have two, well, I think you have two options, or three options. You have three options, sorry. You have three options. You can keep going and keep trying to drop it and keep putting more SMB and try and get the pH down, because more than likely it's a pH issue, or you've contaminated with some other sort of source that is causing you the problem, or your SMB is gone off, or something is causing the problem for it not to drop. Then the next choice is you just scrap it all together and throw it into the stock pot and just deal with it when you're dealing with your stock pot materials at the end of the year. And the choice now I'm going to show you is how I deal with this. Well, what I'm going to deal with this one, where I have this issue, is I decided to do a video. I came across this by another scrapper. I think he was in Australia. I haven't tried this before, but the idea seems to be a good idea, and I'm going to give it a go. So again, have your gloves on, guys. Have your mask. I'm doing this outside as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use aluminium. So I'll use either aluminium foil, aluminium cans, heat sinks, something like that you might have lying around. And I'm going to add it into the solution that I have. And what should take place is because the aluminium is so high up on the chart and gold is so low down, everything below the aluminium should drop out. So your magnesiums, your irons, your coppers, your gold, your platinums, your silver should all drop back out into as a powder. And then it's just a matter of then restarting again, so you can redissolve. So you're using your hydrochloride, probably use the hydrochloric acid to get rid of the irons and coppers and stuff like that. I'll use the nitric. Then afterwards I'll give it another wash in nitric to get rid of any more stuff before I actually go with aqua regia again. Or I might go with the chlorine, the HCl and bleach method, to redissolve it and then drop it. And hopefully this time then I should get a better result, because I've been trying to drop this now for 2 weeks. I've been using heat, trying to bring it down to evaporate as much of the liquid as possible, but it's going to just take too long. It's going to cost too much on heat. Then as I said, I was thinking about just throwing it in the stock pot and leaving it there, but I said I'd do a video on this way and see how it works out. Now, aluminium will usually give you a very, very reactive thing, so that's why when I go out on the outside, I will have small jars, and I will have split this into 4 or 5, maybe 6 jars. So I've taken one jar and splitting it down into 4 or 5, 6. So I'll use different things. I'll use aluminium foil in some of them. I'll use maybe some heat sinks, maybe throw in a Coke can or something, an aluminium Coke can, and just see what reactions we get with each one of them and see how they react differently. So guys, safety is first. As in, I do this video so you don't have to do it. This is for what I do and what I want to see how it works out. So let's go and check out and see how we get on with it. And again, remember, this is for demonstration purposes only, so do not attempt to copy anything you see, guys. So let's go out and check it out. Okay guys, so I'm outside now. I have my gloves ready, I have my mask, and that's my bucket where I'll be pouring solution into first. So what I'll do is I'll just put the bucket aside for a second. I'll put the gloves on and I'll show you the solution. So as I was saying, I've been working on this solution now for a while, and it's been giving me nothing but grief. It was originally from a mix of pins, magnetic and non-magnetic, and I made a few mistakes, put too much nitric in, stuff like that, so which can happen. So that's the solution. As you can see, it's quite a big jar of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it off into the bucket first. So that's the solution poured off. I'll put the bucket aside for a second. we'll bring these jars in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these just a small bit into each one of them. So I have 4 jars. I'm just going to put a little bit into each one. I don't want too much because I will get a vigorous reaction, and I have 4 more jars I'll do afterwards, but I just want to give you a demonstration of what happens. Might as well pour some into, make it a bit more in there. I think that should be enough to start with. Might as well pour into this jar. See, I spilt a small bit of the solution, losing a bit of gold. Might as well just put the last bit in here. Okay guys, so that's my solution poured off. So as you can see here, I have little tin foil balls, so they're just like aluminium foil balls, nothing else, nothing special. So we're going to go to this jar here. You can see the solution. I'm just going to drop one in at a time. So there's the reaction, vigorous. So I've stepped away from the camera guys, so I don't know if you can hear me now or not, but I've stepped away while that is doing it. So you can see the vigorous reaction. So we'll just put a little cap on it there while it's doing it. So that was just from one little bit of foil. So what I'll keep doing is when that is gone, I'll add more to that pile, more to that pile, more to that pile. So I think it's kind of, most of the reaction has stopped. So we'll add another one, and we should get the same reaction again. And that reaction will keep going until it has dropped everything out of the solution below the aluminium. So it is very, very vigorous thing. I have a catch jar underneath in case we did get a boil over, but because I put so little in, I'm only putting a bit at a time. I am not expecting a big boil over from the foils because I'm only putting so much in at a time. So I'll just step away for a minute while that's working. Okay, we'll just do one more and then we'll move on to the next jar with another method. So that's just your aluminium foils. So that's all that is. So the next method, or next aluminium that I'm going to try, is going to be some Coke can foils. So that's just an aluminium can, Coke can, chested with a magnet, and we're just going to put a little bit of that in. I'll just see if I have a smaller bit cut, so I don't want to go too much straight away. So we're just going to drop that in and see do we get a reaction from it. So no real reaction at all from that, getting no reaction out of it. I was expecting a little bit of a reaction, but I'm getting nothing. Small, it's actually beginning to react now a bit, but it's very slow. So you can see in there guys, there's a little bit of reaction around the aluminium, but it's not as vigorous as it was with the tin foil. So we'll let that react away there nice and slow. What I might do is hook a bit over the edge. just let that work away. So again, move that jar out of the way. Very slow reaction. So the next one, what I'm going to use, if I can find them, is a little aluminium heatsink. So again, nothing major, just a little aluminium heatsink. So this will give a big reaction. As soon as this goes in, I'm expecting a big reaction from it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I was expecting a very big reaction on it, but I'm not getting very, very slow reaction. I tested it again with a magnet. It is aluminium. So essentially this works the same way as the stock pot works. Just I'm going right up the scale and I'm getting everything back out. In the stock pot you'll be using your copper to get your precious metals out, and then you'll be using your iron to get your copper back out, stuff like that. But this essentially, then I'm going right up the scale, I'm going up to the aluminium, and we're just dropping it out. So the reaction again is starting there on the thing. I'll just put these foils in this other one. So you can hear the reaction straight away from the foils. They react very, very quickly. I'll step back and you look at it. I'll just wait for that to die down. So it's given a very, very vigorous reaction on the foils. The heatsink and the Coke can is not quite as vigorous, but it is dissolving slowly, so it is reacting. But it's just taking a bit longer. The foil would have been a thinner, I suppose, aluminium. It reacts a lot quicker. So I'm going to leave that, guys, and work away. I'll add more foils to the ones I've already added the foils to, and the ones with the heatsink, which is dissolving slowly down below, and the one with the Coke I'll leave with them and just see how long it takes to dissolve them and what the reaction is. And then we'll come back in a couple of days after I've let this work away and we'll see what we're left with, what powders we have. We'll filter them out, and then we'll be ready to go on to the next stage of restarting again and washing with hydrochloric acid and nitric acid, and then putting it into either aqua regia or going with the bleach method, the what's called copper, the hydrochloric acid and bleach. So guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. It'll be instant for you guys and we'll see how we've got on. Okay guys, so I thought I'd give you a look at the reaction I'm getting now from the heatsink. So the one with the heatsink in it, it's very, very hot and it's really, really vigorously reacting. So I'm going to keep an eye on it so that I don't get a actual boil over. I can feel the heat there on the glove. It is actually steaming hot. So that's very, very hot, so I'm hoping it won't crack the glassware because of the heat, but I'll keep an eye on it. The other ones have kind of died down from the reactions, but I'm sure if I put some foil in we'll get a reaction. And this one with the Coke can, if I swirl it around I'll get a reaction from it as well. But this reaction from the heatsink is really, really boiling up now. Even to touch the outside of the glass, it is really, really hot. So I'm hoping it won't crack the glassware, but you never know. So we'll check back in a while and see how we got on with it. Okay guys, so it's been about 24 hours since I started this, and I'm just going to test it now. I put some aluminium foil in, been dropping it in constantly, so I just want to see how we're getting on. Is it still active or has it started to die out? So we'll just put it in and see if we get any reactions. So it's still active, as you can see. It's still fairly active in there. This one has died down a good bit. This is the one that had the actual heatsink in it. So this one has died down an awful lot. These ones are still vigorously active. So I'll leave that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the heatsinks to them. So we'll get the reaction to move a bit quicker. So if I put in something like these heatsinks into them, the aluminium heatsinks, that should get the reaction going constantly, and then once enough aluminium has been taken out, so we'll drop one of them into something like that one, and we'll give this one into here, and we'll just see till we get the reaction. So you can see there now the reaction from it. So that should speed it up. Over here the reaction is nearly finished, so this is ready to start dropping out its metals and stuff like that. So if I get a spoon or something, and I get a little plastic spoon, we should be able to see some of the metals. So we're going to get a little bit of a boil over here because there's too much in, so that's why you want your catch jar. So you can see there why it's important to have the catch jar underneath it. So I'm glad that actually happened, so you can actually see a boil over. So that's what happens, guys, when the reaction gets too vigorous. So that was from the heatsink reacting with it. So you can see it's vigorously bubbling away in there. So we'll let that work away for a while, let that bubble away, and once it's died down we'll come back to it. But I just want to show you if we've any sediment coming out. Not really at the moment. So here we go. So you can see there black bits. I'll just step back from that. You can see the black bits, and they are the other metals dropping out. So your irons, your coppers, your gold, your silver, your platinums, magnesiums, stuff like that. So that's what's dropping out of that. The heat there is intense. So if I was to leave that in there for a few minutes, it would probably melt the spoon. It's that hot. As you can see on the spoon, bits of metal coming out of the actual mix, which is good. So I'll let that work away and we'll come back to it in a while. Okay guys, so we've put more tin foil in there, or not tin foil, aluminium foil, and it doesn't seem to be reacting anymore. So my guess is the reaction is finished, that it has taken as much as the material out. You can actually see some of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour it off into this container, and then we can so you can see in here, that's the stuff that hasn't dissolved or has been put back out of the liquid. So that's your materials, your copper, your tin, your gold, silver, iron. So again, you can see it all down here in the bottom of this jar. So all that will be washed into one jar. Again, I'll wash this out, make sure that we get every last bit of it. which I'll probably do in a different video. This video is just to show you the process. So this will be all filtered, so again you can see more of it in here. I'll try and get the foil that hasn't So that is one of the aluminium heat sinks that I put in. You can see how so I'll wash that down as well. I'm sure there's bits of material there. You can see it on my glove even. So we'll rinse that off with some distilled water. But so you can see where the debris has stuck to it. It's quite hot. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to call the video at that, and the next stage is we'll do the filtering of it, and we will do re-wash it in hydrochloric acid, well, boil it off first with distilled water, then hydrochloric acid, bath, and then we're going to put it into nitric to clean off some more of the material, and then finally into acarija, and that should get us back to our gold. So whether it'll be acarija or whether it'll be the bleach method, I haven't decided yet. So guys, thanks for watching the video, and till the next one, keep on looking for that gold.